Hi everyone, I am Izzy. In this video, I am going to be describing local potential, resting potential, and action potential with my diagrams here. Alrighty, so here we have the nerve cell. It's going to be the first drawing here. We have the soma, which is the green part there, Schwann cells, that is the purple area, trigger zone, which is also known as axon hillock, and then we have the dendrites. Alrighty, so in the second drawing here, it shows when a neuron or a nerve cell gets stimulated at the dendrites. So that's going to be the branch-like parts of the nerve cell. When the dendrite is stimulated, special gates open up. So right there. So the special gates in the neuron's membranes open up. This will let sodium ions, which are positively charged, flow into the cell. So normally the inside of the neuron is more negative than the outside, but when sodium comes in, the inside becomes less negative and more positive, which is called depolarization. So the positive change spreads to nearby sodium gates, causing more of them to open and allow even more sodium inside. This creates a local potential, which is a small local electrical signal. And then local potential does have some characteristics, which one of them being graded. The stronger the stimulus, the more sodium gates open, and the more positive the inside of the neuron becomes. And then the second would be decremental. The signal gets weaker the farther it spreads from the original stimulation point. So it doesn't travel very far when that happens. And then reversible. If the stimulus stops, the sodium gates close. So here we have an example of the closed gate, and the cell goes back to the normal state. So negative inside, and then the positive will be outside. Here we have resting potential. Neurons have special pumps called sodium-potassium pumps, so that's right here at the center, that work continuously to keep the right balance of ions. These pumps move sodium ions, which is the Na with the plus sign on the red here, and you can find some down here as well. So these pumps move sodium outside of the cell, and then we have potassium, which is the K plus here, which moves it inside of the cell. And then this process requires energy, so that would be the ATP here. So even though both sodium and potassium are positively charged, the inside of the cell, the ICF, has some negatively charged proteins. So that would make the inside of the cell more negative. So compared to the outside, the ECF, which is more positive because of the sodium ions and some potassium ions that leaks out. So this would mean at rest, the neuron uses pumps to keep more sodium outside and more potassium inside. This makes the inside of the neuron more negative compared to the outside, which is called the resting membrane potential. And lastly, we have action potential. So the axon hillock, so it's going to be right in that area there, is the area where the axon begins. It has way more gates for sodium and potassium ions than the dendrites or the soma. So that's that area right there. And then if the local potential is still strong when it gets here, it can trigger an action potential, a much bigger and stronger electrical signal. So this action potential we have here is what the neuron sends down its axon to communicate with other cells. So for example, like muscle cells or other neurons. This is how neurons send signals over long distances. So in the body, action potential sends a signal down an axon away from the cell of the body. So the direction of the action potential is going this way. It's gonna go that way, away from the soma, down to the dendrites. So away from the soma, down to the dendrites. But yeah, that is action potential. Thank you for watching.